You will be informed once the recording of the session is available. Now I would like to hand over to the speaker to begin the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Narendran.
Recording in progress.
All right, welcome back everyone to part 2 of our deep dive into Sales Cloud V2. A quick recap of what we discussed and saw in the system. We discussed onboarding. How can you go to help.sap.com and look for SAP Sales Cloud V2 and go through onboarding steps. We also looked in the system, how does the new settings work? How do you set up the system? How do you configure the system? We went through the fundamentals of the Sales Cloud V2. We looked at the master data as well. But today, the planned topics are guided selling. So some of the features of V2, which we touched upon in overview session as well. But we'll go a step further and look at the settings as well for these features. Guided selling, lead management, digital sales engagement, pipeline management and forecasting. We'll talk about analytics a little bit. Then we will go into Teams integrations, look at high level, what kind of configuration steps are there. We'll look at mashups, autoflow, which is a new way of doing your business flow, and finally survey. So let's get started with the features. Guided selling. So as we discussed in the overview session that, this is a new feature which comes with a lot of new toolkits. You have intelligent insights. You have recommended scorecards or 360-degree information about a particular opportunity or lead. So what are the key benefits of guided selling? So this guided selling actually brings your a structure to an unstructured sales process. It has integration with relationship intelligence, which keeps you ahead with the interaction with customers. We have a new UX, as you have seen yesterday. We have intelligent insights, which are powered by AI ML. We have, with guided selling, it provides a structure to your selling process, which helps you onboard newer sales reps. For example, they have a guided process where they can learn to learn the organization selling process much faster and be onboarded with and hit the ground running faster. Let's look at the components, and we had a look at that in overview session as well, but we'll have a look at them again in the system. So we have Kanban view, we have quick view and workspace as well, and we'll look at the settings. So let's jump over to the system. So for today's session, I'll be using 3 roles. So this one is the sales manager role. I have a sales representative role and the admin setting. So let's look at the sales manager role and look at guided selling. So now if you look at guided selling, this is the Kanban view, which we discussed. These are the opportunity scores, and you have different opportunities represented as tabs. You can drag and drop between different sales phases. It also works backwards. You have search options there, and then we have KPI cards, something called KPI cards. You can filter through KPI cards as well. So that doubles up as filter. And you also have advanced filter, which gives you more options to filter this Kanban view. So you also have, you can switch between Kanban view and list view. So if you wanted to switch to list view, you can switch there as well. On the top, you have filters as well. All opportunities, my opportunities, team's opportunity. You can filter by accounts, sales cycle, sales phase, status, etc. Let's go back to Kanban view. Open an opportunity. So now you can see the score here. You have overview, you have insights there, how you have been engaging with this particular account or this particular contact listed in this opportunity. You can see that. And then all the details of activities. We have timelines. So probably let's pick another opportunity which has timeline. Okay, so this timeline gives you option of um, history for an opportunity. So if I find one, let's see this one. Actually, we have one. So nonetheless, we have the options where you can see all the historical data in chronological order. We can see appointments, notes, tasks, opportunities, leads, and all of these entities, as well as your interactions based on your different channels. So that's about your timeline. You see a tab here, which is basically recommendation, which is coming from a playbook. And we'll look at playbook shortly to see how that is set up. And this is set up. This can be set up by your sales manager or sales rep. You have planned activities. So for example, if you add activities there, you can, that will show up there. You can quickly create the activity as well from here as a quick create view. You have notes there. You have contacts there listed. You can have a look at the contact as well and timeline of interaction with that as well. You have sales team members listed here. You can add attachments, and then the system suggests there are other things you can add into your workspace. For example, sales quotes. If there is a quote created out of this opportunity, you have that listed. You'll have that listed here. If there are surveys attached to this, you will see that. Products, revenue partners. If you had a couple of revenue partners which are sharing the revenue for this particular opportunity, you can list it there. You have related entities. If if this opportunity was created from a lead, you will see that listed there as well. Quickly on the top, you see the different sales phases it goes through. So that gives you an idea what kind of sales phase it is in and what are the next steps as well. So let's quickly look at playbook. So all the recommendations which you saw were coming from playbooks. So these are the playbooks. You can see there are 3 in the system right now. Let's look at one of the playbooks and see what it has. So you can see all the activities and actions. So you have all the sales phases listed here. And if you open this, you have different activities here, one appointment, one task here, qualify opportunity, you have appointment, task, and survey. And when this opportunity playbook applies, this will be presented as cards on top. You can set up a rule there. You can set up your accounts or organizations based on your business process. If you wanted this particular playbook to be applied to particular accounts and organizations, you can see that. You can see the change history there. You can also see the effectiveness. Now this effectiveness tab, what it gives us is an insight into how your playbook is doing based on all the opportunities you created using this playbook. Um, you can see how many times it was actually used. What is the effectiveness score, right? How many times using this playbook you won or lost or stopped. You can also see the opportunities listed here. So basically this is how a playbook looks like. So I created a quick playbook where I have only one activity here, which is a survey, and then a rule here, and accounts. I've created Alpha Center account, changes, effectiveness because we haven't used it. Effectiveness doesn't come up here. Just let me push this. So now you can see the rule. the rule I have added is expected revenue amount is greater than 100K, then this particular playbook applies, and then it will add a survey. It will suggest a survey in the qualify opportunity phase. So let's see that in action. So this is just a quick sample how you can use playbook. I'll go into opportunity, and this is a quick create view. I'll say Q3 August. Opportunity account was Alpha Center. We have selected that in accounts in playbook. We can select a source if we wanted. Say, for example, this was result of a call list. We can select a category if we want. Now, if I say 113,000 USD, save. So new opportunity is created. You can view the opportunity here. Now you can see different cards here. When you click here, it says that what kind of playbook was applied. So now it says opportunity playbook. Let's see, we've worked on it and we progressed it to qualify opportunity. Now we added our playbook at qualify opportunity. Now you see that the playbook is applied now because that's what we had set. Now, if you look at the cards, this is a dev system. So this is the card which we said to propose to the sales rep. So you can say take survey, and then the survey pops up. This was the survey selected in the playbook. So that pops up, and the sales rep can fill that. So that's how a playbook works basically. And you can use playbooks to set recommendations, put a structure around your sales process. Let's go back to a slide. Settings. So let's go back to admin user. Now I'm in admin user role. And as you have seen yesterday, we have settings. Go to all settings. So we have all those settings under opportunity. Let's search general. Now you have opportunity settings. Go into general. You can see all the settings for the opportunity. And these are the settings for guided selling. So you can set your score based on probability or the opportunity score, which is calculated based on machine learning. You can also set all the other attributes for your opportunities, like if you wanted to be notified um, based on a number of days beyond which we should suggest the engagement card. That is there. You can select opportunity one status. You can also select if you want the opportunities to be downloaded or not. You have opportunities document types, so different kinds of opportunities you can create, different sources where basically it's a source where this opportunity came from, or the result of a campaign, for example. You have party schema. You have sales cycle, right? So you can say select different sales cycles, and within each sales cycle, then you can set your sales phases as your configurations. You have categories, reason for status. So you can select a reason for status, and then you can select a status here. For example, you can see lost one, right? So if you wanted to add one, so it will give you the option of a new code description and reason for status. You can have forecast categories. So these will be used when you're doing forecasting. We have contact role. So what kind of role the contact has. And finally, the status. So these are the, and this is the custom status we used to set. These are the settings under opportunities. So you can set these in the Sales Cloud V2 system at this point. Let's go to a slide now. Lead management. So lead management, we had a quick overview the other day as well. You can see there are similar capabilities there. We have list view, which we will see in the system now. We have workspace, so we'll see in the system as well. And then we have all these capabilities where you can create activities, you can see insights, and then settings. So let's jump onto the system, look at lead management. You go to leads. Yeah, you see leads here. So that's your list view. You can create lead from here. You can also download leads from here. There are KPI cards for lead as well. So you can see different options here. You can filter it through this as well. Let's open a lead. So you can see overview here. If there are insights here by machine learning, you see that. You see the engagement scores here as well. You see the timelines as well, and then you can filter those with that. And we had a setting for timeline, which we went through yesterday. You can see this these recommendation card, which is also, this is also working on the same principle of playbook. So you have different statuses here. And then you have a content context, which will be listed out here. If you had an activity, it will be listed here. You can quickly create activities as well. And notice that Teams meeting, you can enable this meeting to be a Teams meeting. And once you have that integration, that is registered there as well. You have latest note. So you can capture notes here. You have context, and you can look at the context as well and what's been happening there. You have the timeline on contact as well. Like, you can also go into full screen for that, or full screen from here as well. We have sales team, so there are two sales team members here assigned to it. You have surveys, so there was a survey here, so that's assigned here. You can look at that quickly. That was completed. We have attachments, and you can add products as well. So that's basically at high level how a lead looks like. That's lead workspace listing. And if we go to the admin settings, let's look at leads. So remember, I said that we have mobile option as well. So all those settings, if you have noticed for opportunity as well, there is mobile administration for them as well. So you have mobile related settings there. Let's open this. And this is the desktop settings. Just a moment. So you have status for leads. You also have sources, which we have in opportunities as well. You have qualification, so you can set up different qualification codes. You have party schema, so that will be your party for party processing. And then you can assign a rule for lead routing as well. So those are the settings, admin settings available for leads at this point. Let's go to slide now. We looked at playbook, and then for an opportunity, the playbook is similar for a lead as well. So you get an option of creating playbook for lead as well. If you looked at playbooks, so you have these two are for opportunity. You have lead playbook. So this will be based on the deal proposal, deal confirmation, all this you have set up for a lead. You can set up the rules similar to what we saw in opportunity. I showed you a rule of $100K dollar. Similar to that, you can set up rules. All the fields are here. You can set for which organization, accounts and organizations you want this playbook to be activated, and then the change log. So that's playbook for leads at this point. Playbook proposal. So we saw that those cards popping up where sales representatives can choose, and it's one-click action, whether you're suggesting an activity, for example, an appointment or task or surveys to be filled, that will pop up there based on your playbook. Digital sales engagement. So we had a quick look at digital sales engagement the other day. So let's jump on to digital sales engagement in the system. We'll also look at call list. So for this, I'm switching to a sales representative view, and you can see digital selling workspace. So now you you see here in decision selling workspace, you have certain KPI cards here, for example, appointments for this month, lead conversion rate, your win rate. If you look at here, you have your call lists listed here, your leads listed here, which are assigned to you, your opportunities which are assigned to you, your tasks which are assigned to you. Also have LinkedIn Sales Navigator attached if that integration is set up. Um, you have calendar on the right side, which will give you your appointments. So this is for my day. Please notice that you also have the option of quickly creating a task, for example, from this workspace. So this is one-stop shop for sales representatives to perform their work, which gives them insights, which helps them prioritize all the activities due from their end. They can also filter that based on, say, for example, status, on track. So that gives them a quick view of what is due, what should be prioritized, and how quickly they should take actions. So you can look at call list, for example. Let's look at call list. So we have call list, so you can create call lists here. So let's look at call list. So you can see there is an overview, right? How many participants are there? How many calls were made, total call duration. Your participants are listed here, and you can see that you can add leads here, contacts, and target groups, which you have created for running your sales campaign. Your sales team is listed here. So if there are multiple people, you can add it from here. Your call scripts are here. So you can add your survey, which is of category call script, and we'll look at it, look at surveys briefly at the end as well. So there's this survey created, which is of category call scripts, which pops up here. So you can set a call script, your objectives, what are your objectives and topics of interest. So basically, then your call list is created, and then it will be popping up based on your participants, and you can go through that. So that's basically about call list at high level. Pipeline management and forecasting. So pipeline management and forecasting settings. Then we'll look at that in the system. Then we will have we'll go through an overview of pipeline manager, how you can filter, what kind of filters are there, what kind of information is there. We'll go through that in the system. Forecast tracker. So there's a link directly on pipeline manager, if you notice here, which takes you to forecast tracker. You can also go to forecast tracker from the navigation link. So we'll look at the forecast tracker as well. We will also look at the subtle differences between a sales manager role and a sales representative roles, what kind of views they get for, say, for example, pipeline manager or forecast tracker. We'll look at pipeline flow in the system as well, and we'll look at trend analytics as well. So let's jump on to system quickly. So the pipeline manager is here. So I am at a sales manager at this point. So you can look at the pipeline here. You can filter it with quarterly, monthly, or yearly fiscal period. You can filter based on currency as well. You have different sales phases where you can filter it with. sales units. If there are more than one units which are rolling up to this particular sales manager, you can have that option and shown here. You can have status, and then you can filter, of course, based on committed, most likely, best case, and pipeline scenario. Coming to the bubble chart, you can zoom in based on what kind of opportunity you want to take a look at. You can reset that. Um, the orange ones are, and these are listed based on the scores given to the opportunity. So these are these gray ones are the one which are 50-50 kind of opportunities. Red ones are where the problem lies. So if, as a sales manager, if I want to look at that, I can look at that. A quick pop-up appears here. When you click on it, it opens that opportunity. You can go through that opportunity as a sales manager and pinpoint if there are any issues there, what kind of actions you want to take. You can reset Zoom. Now, as a sales manager, you have a couple of options here. You can look at that based on your sales unit. If there are other sales, there are other units rolling up to your sales unit, you will get a view with all those listed here. You can look at the actual opportunities. You can look at the breakdowns. So right now it's filtered by owner. You can filter it by account, for example, or sales phases that are listed there. So as a sales manager, you get these options, whereas if I go as a sales representative and if I look at pipeline manager, so I see the charts, but then I can only see opportunities. So that's a difference between sales manager and sales representative roles. Here you have forecast tracker. So before we jump onto forecast tracker, you also have bar chart option here. So you can represent it in the bar chart. You can also zoom in using your mouse. You also have a neat option here which says won last year. So that will give us what happened in this period last year so that you can compare how you're going as far as pipeline is concerned in comparison to last year. Let's hop on to forecast tracker. So forecast tracker, if you notice, there is a target which you can set. For example, Q2, Q3, I've set a target. So you can set a target. You have all the won, committed, most likely, best case figures listed here, total pipeline, which is excluding the won figures. And remember, these are live figures, right? So you can switch between forecast figures. So that was my forecasted number. And then these are my live figures against that forecast, right? You can use submit option to submit your new forecast if you want. Um, in in this chart, you can see that graphically as well, how you have been tracking against your forecast. You can see all the other options as we had in Pipeline Manager. You can see it by sales unit, which is rolling up to your responsible sales unit. You can look at the opportunities. You can also exclude the opportunities from the forecast if you want. You can edit sales phase. There's one feature which is here as well, where it allows you to simulate some of these opportunities. For example, if I change committed, and if I use override option and say most likely case, list this opportunity as most likely case, then you have this option here which says that you can revert it back. So what it allows is for you to simulate changes based on the opportunity. So you can simulate those changes, and then you can revert back to what the actual figures were for all the opportunities. So that's for your forecast tracker. Again, you have breakdown by different option, for example, owner, account, sales phase, similar to what we had in Pipeline Manager. So that give you options to do your forecast tracker in the system rather than going into Excel sheet. So that's your Pipeline Manager and forecast tracker. Let's quickly look at pipeline flow. So you can see for this particular quarter, Q3, at the start of, let's see if we have figures for Q2. Yeah, so at the start of Q2, you're looking at 2 million figure, how they are divided into it, and at the end, how you um, how how you are tracking against that figure. So you can select that, and it brings up a mapping line where you can see when you click on that line, you can see how many opportunities are there, what is the dollar value against it, the percentage. Similarly, you can see for all others like this. And this works both ways. So you can click here and then again it points to where it started from. There were four opportunities here, dollar value and the percentage which were won. You can also see the opportunities listed here, and you can see the sales unit roll up as well for this. So that's at high level your pipeline flow. You can also filter it by your sales cycle and sales phase. You have your fiscal filters where you can filter it by month, quarter, or year. You have your currency as well. So that gives you an idea how you started your fiscal period, say for example a quarter, and at the end what was the result. So with that we have covered pipeline flow. Let's go back to our presentation. So the last one is the trend analytics as part of pipeline and forecasting. So let's quickly look at that in the system as well. So yeah, so what trend analytics does is shows you the current figures versus what was the figure um, last 4 quarters. So you can compare, you can see there are last 4 quarters listed here. So you can see how you're tracking against last 4 quarters. You can filter it by date, your sales unit, all the other attributes as committed, most likely, but best case, your currency, sales phases. You also have summary here where you can see how you have been doing um, currently, and then compared to that last quarter and last 4 quarters, how you have been doing. So that is listed here, and your opportunities are will be listed here when you select it. So when you select it, your opportunity comes up here to see how you're doing in regards to your last 4 quarters, how you're tracking against your 4 quarters. That gives you an idea what sort of trend you're looking at vis-a-vis your pipeline or your opportunities. So with that, we have covered the pipeline and forecasting options. Analytics. So analytics, as I said in the overview as well, that we have embedded SAC in Sales Cloud V2, where you can design your stories, and that can be visualized based on the data available in Sales Cloud V2. And then there are some standard stories which will be delivered as part of this as well. So there are certain settings in the system for designing stories. Once you have your single sign-on configured for your SSE tenant, then you'll be able to design your stories. Once you click on design stories, it will take you to SSE, and then you can design your user stories there, which can then be visualized in the system. So that's about analytics. You have a screenshot showing that analytics settings, your stories. So let's quickly look at that in the system. Analytics, so as you see, you have design stories options. So your stories will appear here. So let's tries to log on to SSE tenant. So that's your stories, and that will open in SSE tenants once your SSO is configured properly. Your failures, communication failures are listed out here as well. So as an admin, you can go and check that as well. So that's about analytics in Sales Cloud V2, where the capabilities are visualization capabilities are much better with embedded SAC. You can utilize all the features, all the visualization features there. You can create your dashboards in SAC from here. Let's go back to the slide. So Teams integration. So now, as we discussed the other day as well, the Teams, Microsoft Teams can be integrated with the workspace here. And you can initiate, as I showed you in the appointment, you can schedule meetings in Teams as well once that integration is done. So let's quickly look at the settings for Teams integration. So you can see Microsoft Teams integration. So there are options where you can select or you can choose what you want to do. Share workspace. You want Teams meeting to be scheduled from here, and outbound calls. So you can see all the options listed here. You can do all these settings as an admin once you have set up the integration with Teams. Um, I'll quickly show you how a sharing workspace appears like. So let's go to, say, for example, an opportunity. So if you look at this icon, this is what allows you to share this opportunity, create a LinkedIn channel there. You can, connect. You have basically option of selecting a team or creating a new team. If you have already created a team, you can select it from here. Otherwise, you can create one. You can select channels. You can select all the members for this team. You can look at preview, and then it will open up. And once you have that integration set up, this opportunity will be shared in that particular workspace in Microsoft Teams. So that's how Teams integration will look like. And just quickly, when you setting an appointment, if you have enabled Teams meeting, that there you can set up Teams meeting there, little icon there while setting appointments. That gives you option of setting Teams meetings and have that meeting there. So that's about Teams meeting. Mashups. So we have mashups as well. So we'll look at the system now to see if how mashup settings will work. Okay. So let's go to admin. Mashup authoring. So that's under foundation. Let's see. You can see mashup authoring. So you can set up your mashups here. So let's look at one mashup. You can see general information, the URL, you have your parameters option. You can also look at preview here once you have set up that mashup. And if, for example, if it is an URL you're trying to bring, that'll appear here. You can also go into full screen mode for this so that you can look at all the available settings here much better. So that's mashup authoring. So you get that those options in Sales Cloud V2 as well, where you can bring in screens from external systems as well, where you have set up the communication arrangements with those systems. So with that, let's go back to the slide. So we covered mashups and the settings for mashup. One important thing is for mashups to work, you have to have mashup services added into your admin business role. Let's quickly look at that as well. Business roles are under user and control. We look at business roles. So for example, for this admin, you have to have a mashup service added. Let's look at mashup service. So that service must be added for you to create mashups into that admin role. And then you can go over to the settings for mashup and you can set up mashups there. Autoflow. So this is a new feature which is available in Sales Cloud V2, where you can set up a certain business flow using autoflow option. So let's go into the system and have a look at autoflow and what you can do with autoflow. So here under business flow, you have autoflow listed. We open it. Let me refresh it once. So you have these custom rules here. So now if I click on create new, you can see the flow editor. You can have your description. What you have here is entities, where you can see all the entities listed. For example, you can select an opportunity. Event type gives you option on opportunity based on the entity selected. Opportunity create or opportunity update. Here you can select a field and a value, and then you can all the conditions you add here will be and conditions, and you can also add or conditions. On the right hand side you see actions, and if you look at the action, what kind of actions are possible. So you can send an email, you can send event notification. That's used for sending event notifications to external systems, provided you have your communication settings done there. You have send information notification, that's in-app notification. Let's look at an email, for example. So you can write subject here. You can choose your email templates here. You can select sender name and email. You can have role-based recipients, or you can add recipients directly. So based on that, you can send an email, and then based on the conditions met, system will trigger that particular email or event notification or info notification. You can also do multiple actions. So for example, you can say, I want to do send an email and also send an info notification. So that's also a possibility. Move it here. So you can set see an info notifications. You can notify in-app as well. So you can take multiple actions based on the conditions and based on the event type and on the entity. So this gives you option of setting a workflow or achieving automation in certain scenarios. That's about autoflow. So let's quickly jump onto slides. So we covered all this. One more thing probably we should cover is autoflow logs. So let me back into the system. So here you have option of rule logs, where you can see how your rules have been doing. So you can see completed with error or completed. So that shows you all the logs for your custom rules which you have set, or your business flow which you have set using autoflow. So that's rule log. Now survey, coming down to survey, we have option of creating surveys in the systems. So let's jump onto the system and look at that. So I'm going as sales manager, and let me look at survey. You can search here in navigation bar, you get surveys. It lists down all the surveys created in the system. So if, for example, let me open a survey. You can see there are questions here. You can create different kind of questions. So for example, multiple choice, single select, amount, date, all of these types, which are here in the builder basically. You also have option of selecting questions from question bank, and we'll just briefly look at it as well in a moment. Then you have results tab, which gives you insights into results, and you can have summary as well and individual responses. You can set up exceptions. You can set up follow-ups. You have so follow-ups is basically a follow-up task. You can see version history. You can also see translations here. If you want to translate this survey to a different language, you can do it here. So you have the option of question bank. So let me open that. Question bank. So let me see if I have it in another role. So you can see here question bank, where you can create your questions and then you can use it in different surveys. So that's how surveys will work in the system. And it's really flexible, and you can see the summary, what kind of questions were answered, and the details about different insights as well. And there you can also see the sentiment analysis score as well in the result of the survey. So that's about survey. So with that, we have covered today's topic. And Rishi and Vinay, if we have Q&As, although we are running out of time now.
Yeah, Rish, most of them, at least 14 are answered already. I guess
Okay.
only 4 are open. So yeah, we can answer that.
So yeah, so we will take these questions and we will put them along with answers into our community page, as we alluded at
Yeah.
the start of the session.
Yeah.
Because with that, we come to an end of Sales Cloud V2 overview and the deep dive part 1 and part 2. I would like to remind the audience that we have a session planned on 31st as part of this series, but that will go into BTP topics. So please tune into that as well. And then please engage through community page, post your questions there in the community page, and we will answer it there. So that will be a going on activity. So please feel free to post the questions in that thread. All right, we are on time. So with that, thank you everyone for participation and actively asking questions. Thank you for your time, and see you on 31st. Narendran, we can stop the recording now.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Rishi, for answering all the questions.
Sure. Thanks, Harish.
Have a nice weekend. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Narendran.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.